Hello, Jandrico teachers. I'm Ryan Trowbridge, the innovation specialist. You may have seen me around the building worrying about the wonderful reptiles you have. Still miss Rex. I hope he's treating you well. Today I want to demonstrate and give you a little instruction on how to use this amazing hydroponic system that you have. Now this is a system that the kids could really benefit from. They'll be able to grow, watch, observe, record, learn, and then consume the products from it. Before I show you your part, I wanted to show you the background. You have these net pots, they're called, but in them will go our rock wool and our plants. I wanted to show you what that rock wool looks like. It comes in sheets like this, and it is a tightly woven fiber material. It reminds me of fiberglass, except you don't get the shards. It's not toxic. Won't make you itch. I wouldn't recommend having the kids eat it at all. That's certainly not, it's not edible, but what it does is provide a strong, secure place so the plants can grow, won't be moved away by the flowing water that's feeding them nutrients. So the process that I use to plant them, and I'm gonna leave you these so you can show the kids, is we break off pieces and then we soak them. I use this bucket here, just plain water. We soak them upside down and then right side up. You'll notice that in the top, which is wider than the bottom, there's a little hole. I use a pencil or a pen, whatever you've got, just to make that hole wider. But when you've got it soaked from the bottom and then the top, turn it right side up, and at that point we plant the seeds. Now, the quantity of seeds that you plant is not like you would do in a regular garden. You might plant maybe two. If you're planting peppers, you might put a couple of seeds here and then go to the next spot and the next spot. In these, we want to plant multiple seeds, probably 4 to 5 times. In fact, in each of these, I've put between 10 and 12 individual seeds in each one of these holes. The reason is because they'll become leggy and grow quickly. There's going to be plenty of nutrients for them all, but you're also going to get a lower germination rate to begin. And so overplanting isn't going to do as much harm in this system as it would in an outdoor regular, home garden or in a school garden. But you can see here we have, these are the plants that are actually going in this today. We started this in, and there's actually some broccoli microgreens. I got these for the students because they grow very quickly, and they can be harvested multiple times. And then you can notice all the way down we have different stages of seeds of lettuce. I also got you some peppers and some tomatoes, as you can see going forward. But you can see the density with which they're put in there, but also the different germination rates and different sprout rates. To put them in is a very simple process. All we do is lift this rock wool out, and it's going to be damp, but again, it's tapered towards the bottom, and we just place it in the net pot and push it down. You have the luxury of having a side view, so we can tell if that is getting water. Within that water, we're gonna add some nutrients next, as these seeds go from seedling to sapling, where they'll use the nutrients from the water rather than the nutrients around their seeds. So quite simply, we're putting them from when they sprout or show signs of sprouting, just placing them down. We don't want to be really rough, but we can definitely press on the rock wool surrounding the sprouting seeds. If we push in the middle, we'll lose that stability, the point of the rock wool. But I want to make sure that they get down deep enough, one, so that they're secure, so that when your amazing pre-K kids come up, that they can probably touch it and not do damage, but 2, so that they can receive all the nutrients that they need. So I'm placing these quick growing ones in the front. The reason I choose that, and that's just pedagogical, is that I think they'll be able to observe and see those more readily. And then I will place the other ones sequentially. I'm going to go in the third row as not to disturb these wonderful graphics that your class has been working on. Okay, so all the rest of the plants have been put in, all the rest of the rock wool contained plants into the net pots. You may see some, when you transplant these, you may see some transplant shock, just like you would in an outdoor garden when you buy something at the greenhouse or the nursery. That's the right word for it. You might see some transplant shock, maybe a little bit of wilting, but give it time. They should come back, especially with proper circulation and nutrition. So what I'd like to show you next is what you'll be responsible for. Your system is a gravity feed with a pump. The pump is contained and immersed, it's submersible in this bucket to the side. You'll notice there's there are three inputs, it's one input and two outputs. The pump's in the bottom. It's pumping the water through the clear tube up and then gravity feeding down, which is returned through the hose. The other one, and obviously actually the most dangerous one, is the electrical power to the pump. It's really important that we have a drip loop. And what I mean by a drip loop is that the cord needs to go down before it comes back up. The danger for the system anytime is the same way we mix electricity and water. That is that we could have electrocution. However, if we have it going down and then back up, there should be no danger of wicking. There should be no danger of dripping. So we should be in a safe place as long as, again, we have that drip loop down and then back up. This is where we will actually feed the plants. We don't have nutrients like a compost or humus like we would in a normal outdoor garden in the ground. So we're going to be adding actually liquid food to our water reservoir. That is going to be contained here. Here is all of the liquid food that you'll need. And I gave you a tablespoon measure. So at the end of every week, or during the week, just one time per week, you can choose what works best for you, for whoever's assigned here. Remove this lid, and it's got the cutout for the 3 cords that come out, and then check the water level. Atmospherically, you could lose more water through evaporation or a drip or a leak or plant growth. Certain weeks, less the other weeks. Please make sure you check it at least every week and then top it off. I used your wonderful watering cans, but however you feel like using, whatever you feel like using will be fine. And then this is a brownish liquid. It's got high nitrogen, phosphate, and potassium, but also all the other micronutrients that are needed, especially in a hydroponic situation. And when you top it off, add 1 tablespoon of this. And again, it looks pretty disgusting, but when we add it in there, it will dilute and give the plants all that they need once per week. Let's see, add the water level line to decrease ambiguity. So fill it to this level, at least. Too much shouldn't be a problem, as long as you're filling it from here. If you fill it from the hydroponic system itself, you may get some backflow. So fill directly, and then you'll add it directly. That'll help it dilute rather than be more concentrated anyway when you add it to there. So when you're finished, just replace the lid, securing the 3 cords in the hole as best you can. That way it's safe for the kids. One thing to note is when we have energy shutdowns, you don't want to unplug this. You may have to leave a note. Please don't unplug the hydroponic system as you do with the animals and other necessary things. But when they come around for energy shutdown check, then this will need to be plugged in. Otherwise, everything will be dead when you come back. Now for the summer, when we shut down for the summer, you'll want to unplug it, drain the water, and then you'll need to actually drain it twice because the hose will drain the rest of the water through gravity back into the bucket. So they'll turn the valve, drain the bucket, open the valve, and then drain it one more time. But in addition to that, remove the pots and then empty the rock wool into the garbage, and then you can put the pots back in, and then we can restart it next fall. Couple other things to talk about is that I always create a map for which plants are which, and the reason which plants are in which location. The reason for that is that gives you an opportunity to extend your learning. In the front, we have some broccoli greens and some sprouts. In fact, I will deliver that map for you of what we planted here, but it allows you to compare, or allows the students rather to compare, contrast, and then know what they're eating when everything is harvested. The lessons you can do, you know better what fits for a pre-K student than probably I would, but there's a lot of measuring, a lot of comparison, certainly a lot of tasting. You can do changes over time. Many, you can work in science, you can work in math, and then however you choose to have them write or draw. But it's not just for play, and it's not just for fun. There's a lot of academic learning that you can do. One thing that you can do that I've done every time we start a hydroponic system is compare it, what they think they know about how plants grow to how this plant will grow. The normal assumption is the plants grow in the ground. We see them, we plant a seed and it grows, and yet we have no ground, but they can see the plants grow. It's kind of a mind-breaking thing. But this is the wave of the future. It's where technology and agriculture are going. Lots, in fact, of hydroponic systems are popping up all over the United States. In fact, a huge new one is now down in Burleson, and the biggest one in the States in Houston. But it's a great, wonderful thing. Just reach out to me anytime you have a question or a concern, and I will be right over to solve it. Thanks.